Tilley with me, and James Croft from Count Pariah. Hey, man, it is too cool. Knoxville, Tennessee. Are you sitting there right now?
Yes, we are.
Fantastic. You're set to release, or you have released your self-titled debut EP. It's available on all platforms. Pavement Entertainment. I saw it hit my desk. I saw Pavement Entertainment attached to it, and I was like, all right, this is worth checking out. Anything from Pavement is definitely worth checking out. And when did that come out? Earlier this year sometime.
14th, yeah.
May 14th.
Fantastic. All right. It's too cool. It's great to have you guys. Thanks for taking the time.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks for having me.
All right, you guys are I was told I'd have Bird and Shibby with me. That's my first question. How do you get the nicknames?
That's everybody's first question, actually.
Yeah. No, our guitarist Jason, man, he's the nickname guy. And they just kind of pop up. I tend to dress a little more colorful, and I get a little excited sometimes when I talk, and so I tend to flap, as it were, my arms, and so it kind of stuck with Bird there. So
I'm thinking that he maybe just doesn't remember anyone's names, so he just comes up with things that stick.
Yeah, like a mnemonic device.
Yeah.
It's great. The Bird I get. I'm wondering what a Shibby is, but I love it. It's cool.
You're looking at one.
Yeah, how about it, huh?
This is the only recorded one here.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. And it's great to have you recorded, my friend. I'm listening to this thing, and it's just these 4 songs. I wish there was more. And I have a feeling there will be more in the future. But these 4 songs are just a really solid bunch of songs, all around. Great tight band. You guys sound extremely well rehearsed. When I listen to this, it's solid. There's nothing loose about it. So let's go through it. Well, in Europe, I try to, every time I talk to somebody, I'll tell somebody I talked to Count Pariah, and they're like, wow, what do they sound like? What do you say to that? I have my own opinions, but for yourself, being so close to the music, what do you guys sound like, you think?
Stuff.
I mean, for me, it honestly, it varies. And that's one of the things that I really love about Count Pariah. It varies from song to song, and hopefully carrying that theme forward, it'll vary from album to album. But you can hear a little bit of everything, but then also kind of nothing at the same time. And so, for me, I get a lot of, for instance, Possession. I've gotten a lot of Tool remarks. Sounds very Tool-esque.
Yep.
And that's one of that's one of the better compliments I think we've received, is that it somehow sounds reminiscent of something you've heard before, but then also brand new. I don't have any kind of pre-notions on what I think it sounds like. I think every song has a little bit of a taste of something that you find familiar. Whether it's a drum fill that I did that I ripped straight from Abe Cunningham, drummer from Deftones, or maybe it's a bass line that sounds really Who-esque. So I couldn't really, I couldn't, and maybe Shibby could, I couldn't put a finger on it and say we sound like somebody. I think there's a lot that goes into it that kind of pulls from pretty much everywhere.
Oh, yeah, we all have a lot of different influences, and especially with our music, when we come up with a new riff or we're trying to write something new, a lot of the times we'll get an arrangement down, we'll get through it, and we'll get to the end, and we'll be like, this doesn't sound like Count Pariah. I don't think any of us could really tell you what that is, but eventually, with enough tinkering, we always get it to a place where it sounds like us, where we're all kind of getting a chance to explore all of our capabilities within a song. It's always a fun process. It's a battle. I mean, writing and creating with more than just yourself is always a battle, but we all have good, strong foundations, and it makes the writing process a lot smoother.
Yeah, to touch on actually what Shibby said, I really like that. I don't think any of the 4 of us came in with a preconceived idea on what we wanted Count Pariah to sound like.
Mm-hmm.
We all knew what we did, what we liked to do, what we think we do very well, and we took those 4 different pieces and made a puzzle out of it. That writing process, sometimes it's not easy. sometimes it just goes together and clicks. But that end result became Count Pariah. It became a brand of its own.
Yep. And I would totally agree. I do hear a lot of things, and I hear that Tool influence for sure. But I also hear some Muse. I even hear a little bit of like a 90s Pearl Jam kind of thing. So it's across the board. And I have heard that each of you has a diverse musical background. What exactly is that? Where do the influences come for the other guys in the band? Are they, jazz players by trade almost, by education? What does everybody bring to the band?
Well, our bassist is probably already what we've already talked about. He listens to a lot of this Tool stuff. We don't want to speak too much for him, but we know that he mentions Tool quite a bit.
Yeah,
Jason does a lot more of the classic rock, Led Zeppelin, Metallica, which is our guitarist.
Slash.
Oh yeah, big Slash fan.
Big classics. I myself, I mean, there's a very big gap in what I listen to versus what I play. I find inspiration in anything from Riff Raff to Chromeo, Drake, Lil Wayne. I mean, whatever it is, if it's got a cadence, it's got a rhythm that I can feel, I'll take that. I'll translate it to drums. But early on, it was Bonham for me. When I was really, really young, my mother loved to listen to Motown. And so I was raised on, just that soulful beat in the background with the Temptations, and stuff like that. And, honestly, my first instrument of choice was piano. But the middle school I went to was incredibly underfunded as far as our music program was concerned. And so they were like, why don't you just try drums? Here I am 24 years later playing drums. But we all definitely have very, very, just in our daily lives, what we do outside of that Count Pariah room. And then, we take that, we absorb as much as we can. And then when we get in that room, everybody brings basically their own ingredient for the recipe. And then we just make it work.
Yeah. I kind of come from a different background too. I grew up in a real religious family. My parents listened to a lot of like gospel music. My dad was into classic rock, and I had two sisters that were into, Backstreet Boys. I still like the Backstreet Boys to this day. I love the way they come up with melodies, man. That pop music pops. So everything, man. I'm wearing a Linkin Park shirt, Chester Bennington. I love that guy. I love Chris Cornell. It'd be hard to find somebody I don't like, or an avenue of music that we haven't explored at some point.
Yeah, my wife yells at me all the time because when we bought the house, we had to have room for all of this. And it's like, I got the full range, I mean, I got everything in here, and I have to. It just, it's what life's all about, man. It's just different sounds. So yeah, I totally get it for sure. How and when did you guys form? Now I know, you guys aren't teenagers. So you've been doing, yeah, we all do. You've been doing this a long time, I'm sure. How did this particular band form?
You want to take that one?
Well, I guess I'm the second to newest member. Bird and Jason, the guitarist, have been playing together for a really long time. They had some other members, and we're trying this thing out a little bit before I showed up. And then that was, what year was that? 2018?
Yeah.
2018 when you guys started?
Yeah.
I think I started the very 2018.
It was before the move. Me and Jason, we played together on and off. About 8 years now. I think we're going over 8 years. So me and Jason have quite the history together as far as making music. And then, Jason and Shibby, they worked together. And, one person talking, got to talking, turns out he sings. And so we brought him on, and then we had a couple different bases that didn't really work out. And then we just put some feelers out on social media, and here comes, Dustin, and he showed up ready to play and really, really enjoyed what we did. And the guy's super, super solid. And, a lot goes into being a band. I mean, you can't just get together in a room and you all hate each other, but you're really good at what you do. Like that's not really what you want. You kind of want that cohesive. And when he came in, Jason's got a very big personality. And he's definitely the hardest worker in the room. And when Moose came along, he kind of recognized the pecking order, and we hit the ground running, man. We had already had, a handful of songs that were either all the way written or that we were working on finishing. And just, a couple of them just fell into our lap. We would send something finished to Shibby and say, hey man, do something. And just magic would come back a couple of days later. It was fantastic.
Yeah. That's way cool. That's way cool. Who's our special guest?
This is my daughter. This is Liliana. She was born in October of last year.
Congrats, man.
Yeah,
so beautiful.
You. She was just starting to get a little antsy, so I figured I'd let her see what Dad's getting into.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm honored to have her on for sure. That's so cool. Very cool. Now we just talked about you guys being a little bit older and a little more, experienced in this kind of thing. Do you feel like there's more advantages for you or disadvantages?
I'll take that one. I think that it's going to be 6 half dozen in the other. I know that there is a certain demographic in this industry. They're wanting the young, the hot, 15 to 18-year-olds. You've got your BTSs, you've got, your Justin Biebers and stuff like that. I think what maybe they lack is experience. I mean, you can be incredibly talented, and granted, raw talent goes a long way. I'm not short-sighting that at all, but practice goes a long way too.
Mm-hmm.
You go back to the 10,000 hour rule. I think what it did for us was that we got the opportunity to not really kind of scramble with stars in our eyes. We had a very clear, definitive outline of what we wanted to do. And it wasn't like we're going to take whatever's offered to us and we're going to appease anybody. We're all kind of past that point in our personal playing and also our lives. Like, we know what we're after.
Right.
We'd all been doing it for long enough. And the ultimate goal is, music is such a labor of love. There's so many times, and I love the quote that music's not always going to love you back. We've played, in my time, I've played some shows where you could definitely tell you were not wanted there.
Yeah.
But where I think it gives us a leg up is that we're a little bit smarter than we, obviously, than we were in our 20s. And I think that gives us an edge because we can really, really define and outline what we want and what we're going to do to get out of it. And it's not just kind of, we'll take whatever. We're past the point of casting a wide net and just taking out what we want of it. We are very, very laser focused on what we want and what we want to do.
Yeah, we're not trying to buy pizza with the money that we make from the band. We're trying to do something we love, put music out there that we're really proud of. It's got us in a very unique position.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's and that is priceless to have that experience. You can only get that with time, and actually doing it. So where does the band name come from? I'm looking at it going, it's really enticing, it's intriguing to me. How do you get Count Pariah?
I really wish there was a big detailed story about that, but there really isn't much. Our guitarist Jason came up with a name a long time ago, and it basically came down to putting two words together that kind of didn't seem like they went together, and then not finding it on the internet. If you Google Count Pariah, all you're going to find is us.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's tough to do.
We like the idea. Jason's the name master, and he definitely came up with it. We like the idea of the Count, being someone esteemed and having, being of royalty, but then also having Pariah on there being the outcast.
Right.
So it's almost, in layman's terms, it's almost like king of the outcasts, and it fits. We like it.
Yeah, it's great. Like I say, it hit my desk, and I was like, I was intrigued. What is that? How did they get that? What, is there a meaning behind it? I was like, it made me listen for sure. That was the first thing that,
that's what we want. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the email comes, it doesn't have music, playing. So all I get is the name, and, that was the first thing I put on. I was like, I need to hear this. And I was very happy to hear it. What's your writing process? Do all you guys write, or, is there one writer in the band?
It kind of happens different. Like he said, they had been playing in a band for a while before I showed up. And when I showed up, they had already had some stuff hashed out, at least some good arrangements. And so a lot of our early stuff was written already. And then I came in and added a melody to it. Now it changed, of course, from what they had to what I did. And then what I did changed to what they were doing. So a lot of that changed. But we're actually now in the process of writing newer material with just this 4-man group, and I think it's some of our best stuff. Our best stuff is yet to hit.
Yeah.
It's coming next.
Yeah.
And that process kind of happens differently. It's maybe Jason brings a riff, or maybe Moose brings maybe Dustin brings a riff to practice. And
for the record, he hates his nickname, so we refuse to call it.
Maybe Dustin brings us something to practice, and we start working with it. Maybe he adds a beat to it that changes what the original riff was. Maybe I have a melody idea or something that we can add to it. It's very collaborative when it comes to that. I write all the lyrics, but as far as the melody and everything goes, I mean, it works all together.
Very cool. Very cool. Now, recording, who produced this album? Do you guys self-produce yourself?
I wish.
There's a lot, man. There's a lot of layers to that.
Yeah.
The end result of what you heard was it definitely was not us. We had went to a studio. We recorded the hard samples there, and then it was sent off to another party to get mastered and mixed. We do our own recordings. We're not recording audio engineers. That's not who we are.
Right.
They sound good. I mean, they're decent enough, but what we like to do is we like to have them kind of pre-recorded before we go to the studio.
Yeah.
Then when we get there, we can kind of give that person, hey, here's the songs. They're not being changed. We're not rewriting. We're not writing in the studio. They're done. This is what you need. So take whatever cues you want out of it. Here's the tempo. Put me with a click track and let's go.
That's definitely the beauty of technology and the way we're using it. We have Ableton, and we're able to use that to everybody record their own pieces at their house, and we send it to each other, and we're able to bounce it back and forth. And it really helps us kind of hone in on what you're doing, listening to what everybody else is doing. It's amazing.
Yeah. And yeah, like you say, you have songs written and they're rehearsed and they're specific, they're done a certain way for a reason. You come in, and somebody records them as the producer. Say you were to get a guy like Rick Rubin, or one of these big Rob Cavallo type producers. They're kind of hands-on. I don't know about Rubin, but a lot of them are very hands-on. They want to put a bridge here, or take one out, put a solo here, kind of form it as say the fifth member of the band. Would you be open to something like that if you had a guy like that?
Absolutely. We don't usually, when we walk into a studio with our stamp on it, as long as, how did NF put it? We'll accept advice as long as it's not presented ignorantly. As long as somebody is trying to add something to the music, as long as they're trying to build a better song, then absolutely.
Yeah,
we're not set in stone on anything.
I think 100%. I think back to consider the source. If somebody like that, a Reuben, and somebody's tried and true, and they really know what they're talking about, I'm absolutely going to take your advice on that.
Yeah, we'll shut up.
Shut my mouth and play whatever you want me to play.
And that would be, I'd love to see that collaborative effort and somebody like that. That would be really cool. Do you plan to release new music in EPs? I see a lot of people releasing singles or EPs like you guys are doing, just so you have a small bank of music that, it's not overwhelming for people. People aren't used to full records anymore. So, what are your plans for the future in that regard?
We're still kind of building the Count Pariah brand. We're newly signed with Pavement Entertainment. We released our EP just a couple of weeks ago, and our music actually hits a bunch of radio stations next Tuesday. So we're still kind of building the next plan. We have the music, and we're ready to put out the next big hit, but we're going to wait and see what this one does. And I mean, I would love nothing more than to put out an album, but it's just the way the music world works now. It's kind of weird. Albums are kind of reserved for the bands that are already up there, the bands that are at the top looking down at everybody else. That's the guys who get to put the albums out. Everybody else, they just kind of got to keep feeding until they get enough people watching to where they can get that kind of following.
Yeah. I mean, to touch on that, we live in such an instant gratification world that I think, and I don't mean any ill will towards the younger generation, but it seems like you might get their attention for 4 or 5 songs tops. And then if it were a full album, maybe they'll come back to it later, listen to the rest of it. A lot of people, they just want to click, they want to hear instantly. And that in pretty much every facet of life. So I think Shibby's right. We kind of want to test the waters and see how this EP does. If it's, if it's something astronomical and it does really well, then we definitely, I mean, we're poised so that we could do another EP right now, or we could do an album right now. It doesn't really matter. We've got plenty of songs.
Oh, that's awesome. That is great to hear, man. Any plans for a video? I don't see a video up. Videos are a big deal, especially like lyric videos first. And I know it's a big, costly production a lot of times. Do you have a plan for that, or do you have a desire to do that?
Well, Pavement has some connections with some people that create lyric videos. Again, we're kind of new into all of this. So absolutely. I've got all kinds of ideas for videos for songs that we haven't released or songs we have released. Like I've got ideas. It's just about kind of getting the pieces in place. And you're right. It's very important to get it right. You can't just put out garbage. You want to click on something and they want to enjoy it. So, but yeah, we would love to do that. That's hopefully in the near future.
It's on the agenda. We'll say that.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. That's great news. I really think that your music lends itself to video and, an album. It's got peaks and valleys and mood and emotion. And, there's so much movement to it. It's so deep and emotional. Really, I'd love to see an album and, that one of those really ethereal type videos would be fantastic. Do you have a tour planned? Are you going to go on the road? Would you like to go on the road and attach yourself to a tour in some way?
Well, we would never turn down the right opportunity. But as you can see, we've kind of got our own. Every one of us have got children. We've all got jobs. But that being said, we're still looking for the right opportunity. As far as live shows and stuff like that, we love to play live, man. It's hard to get a show right now because everybody's been sitting around for the last year and a half,
right.
Not being able to go out and get shows. So every band out there is trying to find a show right now. So, But as far as tours go, we get offers from Pavement Entertainment. They send us offers for tour opportunities quite a bit. And as soon as something lines up for us and makes sense, you'll see Count Pariah everywhere.
Oh man, yeah, I can't wait to see you here close to Chicago. I would love to see you guys live. And
I'm not going to miss the chance to swing by Portillo's. You know that.
There you go, no doubt about it. Hey man, we'll have to do that for sure. Come on by and we'll hang and and bring Liliana on the road. Is that
well, I'm getting up there in age, man. She's going to be my replacement here in about 5 years. I'm going to go ahead and teach her how to play.
Way cool. Looking forward to it, man. Hey, you guys, Bird, Shibby, Count Pariah, check these guys out. Amazing stuff. Four-song EP on Pavement Entertainment. You're in good hands there too. Pavement Entertainment, been around a long time. I've worked with them for a long time. It's great to see you guys on that label for sure. Come to Chicago and man, I can't wait to see you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having us, Scott. And if you think about it, just shoot us a message on our Facebook page with your shipping information. Once we get our merchandise, which should be here in the next couple of weeks, we'll go ahead and send you a little goodie package for having us on, man. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. That would be great, and I'd be so proud to wear it and promote you guys as best I can.
Fantastic. We love to hear it, man. We love to hear it,
guys. Thanks so much, Liliana. Take care of yourself.
Bye-bye. Say bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Scott.
Take care, guys. Thanks so much.
Right. See you around.
Bye-bye.